Are we going to top work, or are we going to uproot another tree and move it, or are we just going to buy a new potted tree and put it there? What's better in terms of how quickly you can get planting a 25-gallon or top working one that's already there? I spoke to 3 of the top experts mango growers here in South Florida. Alex from Tropical Acres and Chris from Truly Tropical, and Julie and Lara from Lara Farms, Miami. And I sat down with them and I asked them this question: is it better to buy a new tree or to top work an existing tree? And today we'll hear their answer. And I can move the orange essence over there as well, or I could just buy a new 25-gallon orange essence and put it in there. But I already have an established tree with a root system. Transplanted tree, big tree in a pot, or top working. What is the ideal?
In terms of planting versus top working an existing stump?
Over here I put a 4026, a ZIL 4026. I was able to get some budwood of that. You got the answer from the experts. Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. This is one of my mango trees and it has white paint on it, and you might be wondering why. Well, today we're gonna talk about cutting back trees and top working them, and we're gonna ask the question, is it worth it to cut back and top work a tree, or just replace it with another tree, let's say another 25-gallon mango tree? So that's what we're going to talk about today, because that's a question that comes up often. And I'm going to show you some of my trees that I've top worked and that I am top working currently, and why I decided to top work instead of putting a new tree in these areas. So here we go. We are in mango season right now. Right now it's July 19th, 2025, and that is a tree that was a step mango tree, and it was a big tree, and I cut it back and I painted it. And you might be wondering, why would I do something like this to establish mango trees? Well, when I planted these trees, sometimes I guessed, sometimes didn't know what it was, and I tell everyone it's always best to taste a mango 3 times before planting it, and also do the research to know that that's going to work for you. But even then, you're going to come up with things that might not work for you, and this is a good example. This is a step mango tree. I didn't know much about it. I found out it was from Hawaii, but I consulted with Alex at Tropical Farms. He said, keep that step. It's a great mango tree. I didn't even buy it. Somebody gave it to me, and I planted it, and it was very productive. There's even a mango still on there. It's a very productive tree. However, I just don't like the taste of this mango. And I was at Excalibur Fruit Trees recently, and they have a big step mango tree for many, many years. And one of the guys there that works there says every few years it's a wonderful mango, but most years it's not the best mango. And all these mangoes I'm talking about would be, you know, any mango is better than the average store-bought mango. But when you have access to the top mangoes and you only have limited space, you have to make some decisions. So I decided this space, which is my most prime space here in all of Mango Land, I don't want this not ideal mango tree there for me. So I decided I was going to use that space with something else. Now, right behind the camera is a sunrise tree, and right next to it is an orange essence tree that I planted too close. They're about 10 feet apart, and they're both big trees. So my goal and my idea was I was going to dig up the orange essence tree, which I'll show you in a moment, and dig up this tree. I was going to sell this tree and put the orange essence tree right there. I could have also bought a 25-gallon tree and put it there. But the question today is moving a tree or planting a big tree like a 25-gallon tree better and quicker and a better chance of survival, or is top working your best bet? Now, top working a tree means that you're going to take an existing tree that already has an existing root system, and you're going to graft on top of that the variety that you want. And there's pros and cons to doing this. But do the pros weigh out the cons? Are we going to top work, or are we going to uproot another tree and move it, or are we just going to buy a new potted tree and put it there? These are the questions that and I'm sure some of you had. So I'm going to go through some of my trees and show you this decision I've made in several different areas. Now, I have no problem digging out a tree and selling it and giving people a guarantee that it will survive. Mango trees survive amazingly. I have no problem doing that. So why wouldn't I just dig out a tree like this orange essence tree and just plant it right there and dig that one out and sell it. First of all, most people don't know about this variety, so might not want to buy it. Some people really love the variety. They might want it. However, there's already an established root system here. And I was wondering this question, what's the best way to do it? So I spoke to 3 of the top experts mango growers here in South Florida. Alex from Tropical Acres, and Chris from Truly Tropical, and Julie and Laura from Lara Farms, Miami. And I sat down with them and I asked them this question: is it better to buy a new tree or to topwork an existing tree? And today we'll hear their answer. And I'm kind of doing it different in different areas, but this tree is currently, it was just cut back, and I put on here, I didn't even put my orange essence here because I was able to obtain budwood to another variety that I just dug up and sold because it wasn't in a good spot, and I wish I would have kept that variety so I would have had unlimited budwood, but Karen and Michelle. So I put Karen and Michelle on here, and I'll get a closer look here to the tree, and we'll show you the Karen and Michelle that we got on here. So this is the budwood to the Karen Michelle. And it's looking good. This one's looking good. This one's looking good. And you only need 1 to take. The tree's going to be loaded and wonderful with 1. But I put 5 grafts on here. A friend helped me. And I painted the tree so it doesn't get sunburned because I took the big canopy off. And for all this time I was thinking this was either going to be orange essence that I'm going to put here, or it's going to be topwork to an orange essence. The last second I just got the budwood to a Karen Michelle that I took out. So I said, since I got the access and this is the only tree available, I put Karen Michelle in here. We'll see how it does. Now, let me turn this around now and show you my orange essence here and my sunrise. This is why I don't recommend planting too close. That's 10 feet apart, but as you can see, it's already an issue. But I might just leave it just to see how it is. Again, I could take out that orange essence, but I'd rather have the budwood to possibly topwork to other things. Speaking of which, orange essence is a great tasting late variety. There is one of the latest varieties that's called Little Gem. Folks, I am not happy with the inconsistency of the flavor of the Little Gem mango. Very inconsistent. Every 4th one tastes amazing, but the 3 or 4 in between, they don't taste that great. It's a late variety, but when you have limited space, you got to make decisions. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to topwork that with my orange essence. Again, I can move the orange essence over there as well, or I could just buy a new 25-gallon orange essence and put it in there. But I already have an established tree with a root system. Now, I said there were pros and cons to topworking. I mean, even if I successfully topwork that orange essence, I'm still going to have to make sure I'm always on top of cutting off the other variety, the Little Gem, so they don't get confusing or mixed up. And if I just put a new tree there, it's set it and forget it. And if I move a tree there, then it's you're taking a chance. Small chance, because mango trees usually don't die, but you're taking a possible chance that the mango could possibly, or the tree could possibly die. But in this area, that's it. I got to find room for my orange essence. I found room for my Karen Michelle here. I'm satisfied with everything's going back here. I do have some trees in the pot. I have some trees in the pot that I want to get in the ground, apricot and 1 or 2 others. However, there is a tree back here called Sun Puri, which I absolutely love. And I need a tree to topwork it with. I need to put it somewhere. While I'm here in Mangoland, I'll show you this tree right here. This is the Needham tree. This was originally at the driveway at my other property, and it just was way too tight, and it wasn't a good spot. So I dug up the Needham tree, and I put it here, and as you can see, it's doing wonderful. Needham is a great tasting late season variety, and it's doing great here. I topworked a few other varieties onto this as well, some seedlings and so on, but Needham is great. And like I said, we're here in the end of July almost. Needham. Now, one of the things about Needham is sometimes it might be inconsistent, but I wanted to show you this because this is a tree that I actually transplanted from my other yard, and it's doing great here. That's a Needham tree. I have over here a tree in a pot, in a 45-gallon pot. It was a mislabeled mango tree that was sold to me. It was sold to me as an ice cream, or it was given to me as ice cream, but that's not an ice cream. I could tell from the leaves. I don't know what it is. But here again is the question, everybody, and this is the thing I'm always thinking about, wanting to help you all to make the best decision. Transplanted tree, big tree in a pot, or top working? What is the ideal? Pros and cons to all of them. And let's go over some of those pros and cons. Putting a new tree in the ground, you should know what it is and what it's labeled. You put a new tree in the ground, it's going to take a while before it starts producing really well. Depending on the size of the tree, a 25-gallon tree should have fruit the following year, maybe even the same year if there's fruit hanging on the tree. But you got to get it to your house. The delivery of a 25 or 45-gallon tree is not easy, and moving it to the spot is not easy. It's very unlikely, unless you have some big machinery, that you're going to be able to get a tree of that size. As for transplanting a tree, I cut it back before I moved it, and it wasn't as big as like maybe a 25 or 45, but the tree was pretty big, and the root system was already established that I had cut off. I left a good amount of roots, and then I planted it in the ground here. Now, when I first got this property, there was only one mango tree, two mango trees, but there was one main mango tree on the property that was a seedling of a Julie, because the guy that lived here loved the Julie mango, and he didn't know that seedlings don't come out as good as they, or they're not true to seed. So he had the seedling, it wasn't good. He gave me permission to top work it, and I top worked it to an ice cream. So this was an example. I could have took this tree out, but I top worked it to an ice cream tree, and now it's doing wonderful. So these are the three options, and I'm going to go over and show you something that some of you might disagree with what I did, but the pros and cons, and we got to get the most out of the space we have. So I'm going to go and show you the tree that I regretted cutting and top working the most. And even if you cut a tree and top work it, you can leave a branch of that tree and still get that. But there's a few trees in my yard that I've done this with, so I'm going to go there and show you right now this. And this is such a good topic for people that are wondering this. I think we got the answer from the experts today, and we're going to hear from them.
Yeah, try as many varieties as you can, and if you happen to fall out of love with a variety that you have, not the end of the world. You can learn how to top work your tree and get like practically instant fruit of another variety.
Okay, here I am now back at the original property here, and there at one point was right in this spot was where that Neelam tree was, and it was right here, and now this is my driveway. That's how close it was to everything. But I moved it over there, and I transplanted it over there, and I transplanted other trees as well, but you can get an idea of how it's doing from what you just saw. And I didn't put anything here. Now, could I have planted another tree there and just took the budwood and did that? I could have did that. And one of the things from Chris from Truly Tropicals, one of the things she does is she just plants seeds all over her yard, and as they're coming up, she just top works the seedlings, which is another great idea with something people can do. As a matter of fact, somebody told me that's what a lot of people do in California. They just plant seeds, and if they grow, they just top work the seeds. So this is another tree here that was a Kent tree. And this tree here, I had two Kent trees, and I found out about bacterial black spot, and I got it on my Kent tree. So I decided I was going to top work this tree, and I top worked this. On one side I put Fairchild, on another side I put Angie, and then I left on this side the Kent side. So there's three varieties on this tree right now, and everything took just fine. And the two earlier varieties are off the tree, and then the later ones coming out. Advantages and disadvantages. When you multi-graft a tree, sometimes you have to make sure one tree doesn't outgrow the other, and you want to make sure that the pruning and the season and all this, there's pros and cons to do this. From what I've discovered, I think if you're going to top work a tree, it's easier if you just do it with one variety, but you can do it with more, and as you see, it works. and it's exciting. And none of these answers are right or wrong. It really depends on the different factors, why you're changing it, what you're changing it to, what budwood you might have available, what you don't, how accessibility do you have to a variety you want in terms of a tree that you want. Let's go and look at a clip now from that I did with Alex and Julian and Chris talking about this topic. What's better in terms of how quickly you can get planting a 25-gallon or top working one that's already there? What do you think's easier?
I top work 25 gallons all the time.
Well, he top works 25-gallon trees,
Well, I mean,
right? In terms of planting versus top working an existing stump, it's going to outproduce the planted tree, whether it's a 25-gallon or another size tree, almost every time, and you're just going to get better results quicker in most cases versus planting a new tree. So
A lot of times what I'll do is, when I have room and ambition, is I'll want a tree somewhere. And I don't want to even put a seedling there because you should water your seedlings until they get established. So I will put mango seeds where I want a tree. And then if it grows, then I top work it. And if not, then put more seeds down. So it's like zero pre-labor or whatever. There's no interaction or nothing necessary until that seed actually sprouts, and then you can get a tree right there.
yeah, that's a common practice in California now. Actually, is that they'll grow seedling trees to be
Out in the field.
Out in the field.
Yeah,
To be,
and if
grafted
they
later.
survive, the drastic conditions in some certain parts, then good to go.
Yeah, that's what I recommend for people like they're planting like 20 acres or something, or 5 acres, a lot of land. And I'm like, look, you can buy the trees from me, that's fine. But another option would be planting seeds. Just plant seeds every 20 feet, 20 by 30 feet or 20 by 20 feet. And then later on, you can go out there and top work it.
Yeah.
All right, well, they seem pretty convinced that top working the tree was the way to go. And I like the idea of setting it and forgetting it. And that's where my mind space was until I consulted with them, and they said it's better to top work. And if you know how to top work and if everything takes. But this is the tough one, folks. This was a lemon zest tree, a big lemon zest tree. And recently I decided to cut it back because of the 100 mangoes that might have been on there, maybe more than 3/4 of them had bacterial black spot. So I could have got 25 the best tasting mangoes, or I could plant something else and get 100 to 150 of a good variety as well. So I decided to cut back my lemon zest tree. I might let one branch grow. I could have kept one branch, but I decided I'm going to top work this. And when I'm top working, I'm deciding what budwood I have available or what I want in a certain place or something. I told you I had a Sun Puri next door mango land and that I wanted to get somewhere. So I top worked some of this with Sun Puri, and then this isn't a big space, so I wanted some mangoes that weren't going to grow tremendously big. Over here, I put a 4026, a Zeal 4026. I was able to get some budwood of that. Now, I have a 4026 tree in a pot, and I could have dug up this tree and put the whole tree here. But again, this is a very great established tree already, so why not just add the budwood to the tree and see what happens? And the pot's going to be there. Even if this whole experiment fails, the pot's just going to be there and keep growing. So I'm going to show you one more tree here that I actually top worked, and it took successfully, and it was great. Okay, for those of you that have been watching my channel, this is my former cherry tree. Yes, I cut down a lemon zest and I top worked a cherry tree. How crazy am I, right? But if you watch my videos, you understand my thinking on all these different things. I did leave a branch of cherry on here, but I top worked this tree because I kind of got sick of cherry because I was eating so many of them, and I was like, anyway. So I put on here, and this was the first tree that it wasn't the first tree I successfully top worked, but as a complete top work, I put on an emerald. And this year I got emerald for the first time, and they were delicious. And this is only 3 grafts that took, and look how perfect the tree is. You don't need a lot of grafts. So I cut back the tree, emerald, 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 and now I gotta actually gonna cut back this tree because the season just ended, and make it a nice size and make sure it doesn't get too big. And on this side, I had 1 graft and I wanted to put it on here. I don't remember even which one it was. Label your grass, folks. But there was another branch here, and I either have apricot or Timor. Because Julian gave me a Timor seedling, and I put it right here. And this side took. And I did this after I did everything else, so nothing came on this one yet. But we'll see. So that's it. I mean, you got the answer from the experts. Try top working first, especially if you have availability to the budwood. If you don't know how to graft, it's not difficult to learn. And even if your success rate isn't great, that's where it's good if you have accessibility to a good budwood. But yeah, I've done all. I've transplanted trees. I've planted new trees that were already established in pots, big trees, and I've top worked. And probably have to say the top working will give you the fruit faster than any of the other ways. However, if you get a 25-gallon tree and plant it in the ground, you will get fruit fast, but not an abundant amount. Where if you top work it, you can get a good amount pretty quickly. And as for planting or moving a tree, again, you'll get mangoes depending how much you cut back the tree, maybe 2 or 3 years. But it's not really going to really take off until a little bit longer. And I think top working, as you can see, amazing. Now I only had, this was my my second year that I've done this. And I had maybe 5 or 6 mangoes this year. But next year I expect this tree to be loaded. There you go. But you have the experts. You see what they had to say about it. What's your opinion? What have you done? What do you think about this topic? Let me know in the comments below, and let everyone know, because we share and we learn from others' experiences. All right? I'm going to put all the links below to Alex, Chris, and Julian's websites. You can get budwood from all their sites. They sell it, and mangoes they sell, and they also sell trees. So whichever option you want, you can contact them. And I'd love to hear your opinions and comments. Thank you if you subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't, please give it a shot and subscribe and hit the notification so when we do our live interviews and things like this, you can be notified. And if there's something else you want to see on the show in terms of, it's mango season right now, so I'm like really doing videos on mangoes a good amount, and jackfruit just came this season. So much stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Fruitful Trees, thank you for all that bought the hat and the shirt. Until then, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great day and keep growing.